draw your own conclusions. But right now, let's travel into the world of live-action motion picture and television production. The Disney MGM Studios features sound stages, outdoor sets, state-of-the-art editing and sound facilities, and everything else that you need to produce a motion picture or television show. We'll be rounding the corner here onto Mickey Avenue. Now here on Mickey Avenue, you'll be seeing some bungalows that are homes to the production teams currently using our facilities. In bungalow number 2, we have the Teen Win, Lose, or Draw. And in bungalow number 3, it's the new Mickey Mouse Club, which is now showing on the Disney Channel. Now speaking of Mickey, if you'll take a look to your right, you'll get an eyeful of our award-winning Earful Tower. Now the tower stands 13 stories tall. Some say 14, but that's another story. And how long did it take to complete, you may ask? Well, it took 2 full years. Now we're also in the greens department, where we store plants, shrubs, and trees until they're needed on a set. This is a fast-growing department here at the studio. Next, we'll be traveling into a more glamorous department. It's known as costuming. Now, in the costuming department, you'll be seeing the original costume worn by Bette Midler in Big Business, Warren Beatty in his upcoming feature, Dick Tracy, Julie Andrews as Mary Poppins, Michael Jackson's as Captain EO, and the costumes worn by the co-stars of Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Now here at the studios, we have over 100 extremely talented artists working on creating and designing the costumes for our motion picture, television, and entertainment needs. We have over 2.25 million garments, which makes Walt Disney World the world's largest working wardrobe. Just past that, you'll be seeing our camera, lighting, and prop storage area. Equipment is stored. Network television crews use our equipment when covering shuttle launches at the Kennedy Space Center. And past that, you'll see our scenic shop. In the scenic shop is where the carpenters begin to build the sets, which are later finished on the sound stages. People who work in here are the only ones I know who can make a scene and get paid for it. Now, a set that gets used over and over again is called a standing set, unless it's elaborate as an entire house. Next, we'll take a look at some very unusual houses. To avoid the problems of crowds, traffic, and noise that on-location filming often producers run into these things, they'd like to shoot on a backlot. Now, if you're thinking about moving into this neighborhood, I suggest you think twice, because the homes you're about to see are just facades. Realty agents just love this part of town because there's always an open house. Now, we do have one resident here on Residential Street. Herbie the Love Bug. Everyone say hi to Herbie. Hi, Herbie. House from the movie Ernest Saves Christmas, and it looks like he's still got that acting bug, though good parts are hard to find. Those are the breaks. Coming up on your left, you'll be seeing the home of the Golden. And it looks like set and production designers have been adding props and set pieces of this home, like the frisbee on the roof, to give it a more lived-in look. You see, the little details are what make a big difference. Street, and we'll be looking through there just a little bit later. But as we round the corner here, make sure to check out our backlot church. That side represents a small city church, while the front plays up the big city role. Like every other building here on our back lot, the church is easy to alter. The back lot at the Walt Disney Studios in Burbank, California got its start back in the 1950s with Walt Disney's first primetime television show, Zorro. Zorro's haciendas were soon joined by a Western Street, residential street, and a town square. Over the years, their back lot has changed, as will ours with each new production. In this area, we store large props and set pieces from previous productions. Now, if you'll take a look across the canal, you're going to get a great backstage view of Residential Street. Now, notice how the architectural design of each of these homes stops just out of camera range, because we only build what the camera needs to see. It's a great place to visit, but you really wouldn't want to live there because there's not a lot of privacy in this bedroom community. Now, on a back lot, we can redesign sets or environments that aren't found nearby. For instance, in Central Florida, you couldn't find an active oil field in a dry, barren desert canyon that was prone to flash floods. So, a production crew built one right here on our back lot. And today we're going to be filming a scene, and yes, you will all be the stars, where a shuttle just happens to get caught in this dry, barren desert canyon prone to flash floods. Now, like I said, on a back lot we can recreate just about anything, even the weather. This scene calls for a real downpour, but in movie making, time is money, and we don't have time to be waiting around for Mother Nature. When the cameras are ready to roll, the rain must be ready to fall. Now everyone scoot a little bit to your left and smile big out the side of the shuttle. Whoop.
And clear. Stand by, everybody.
Hey, I hear the director now. You're welcome to take pictures, but make sure to hang on to your camera and to your children.
The captain begins. Scene 1, take 2. Let's start the rain, please. And action!
and is known as Catastrophe Canyon. By now, you probably figured out why. It's our own little bit of shake and bake. Now the yellow pipes that you'll be seeing running all through this area here are the pipes that carry the gas that was used in those explosions. And the white tubes, they carry the water that was used in the rain and the flash flood. The actual flood was started when the gates of large black water tanks up above were opened. The tanks hold about enough water to fill 10 Olympic-sized swimming pools. The water was also blown out by air cannons. The largest air cannon can shoot 275 gallons of water over 100 feet. Say, for instance, you were to stick a basketball in one. Well, it would shoot it over the top of the Empire State Building. So kids, don't try this at home. Now the earthquake was caused hydraulically with low-frequency sound effects to add the final scary illusion. It was created by a Hollywood special effects team, so what seemed to be an out-of-control disaster was actually very safe, and it was computer-controlled series of events. That's what makes the backlot so perfect for motion picture and television production, having total control. Actually, all of Walt Disney World is these army vehicles were used in the television show MASH. You can see the 4077 written right on that one medical jeep. Now, is anyone here from New York? Anyone? Oh, there's a couple of you. People always say they're from New York, but they're never there. Can anyone answer that question for me? Well, you thought you all could get away from the big city on this vacation, didn't you? Ha ha ha. Here we are at our own slice of the Big Apple, New York Street. Now as we cross the road here, make sure to look through these two arches, and you might just want to get a picture of this. If you missed it that time around, don't worry, because you'll have another chance, honest. Now we do call this set New York Street, but it could represent any large city. Now those amazing buildings and skyscrapers you see at the end of the street are flat painted sets. It's an old movie trick that's known as forced perspective. It gives the illusion that the buildings are taller than they actually are. Our designers spent over a year and a half planning and constructing the facades that you see here. They may look like the real thing, but these are movie sets, constructed of fiberglass and styrofoam that was just aged with special effects to make it look like this city's been around for a decade. On your left, not yet, you people in the back, but it will be. Coming up on your left, you'll see a red trolley car. It was used in the filming of Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And Roger and Jessica Rabbit escaped certain doom from this vehicle up ahead. It's the original Zipmobile from the movie. Anyone heard it? All you tunes on board, please keep your fuzzy ears, tails, and beaks inside. deal. Take a look back over to your left at the skyscrapers. Now the original Empire State Building is over 100 stories tall, and ours was just over 4. If your shoot doesn't take place in New York, it's not a problem because we can remove the Empire State Building and the Chrysler Building. If you look to your right, you'll see somebody's large pet. Months were spent searching for the right signs and details that would breathe life into these streets. You see, with the props, signs, and vehicles, we can dress this set to look like any city at any time. Now here we are back at our own Washington Square. Or what could be the entranceway to a city park, depending on where you set up your camera. We'll be crossing the street here one more time. For all of you who'd like to take a picture of our amazing optical illusion, you're more than welcome to. Now this has been the first half of our backstage tour. The second part is a guided tour, and it takes about 45 minutes. You won't want to miss it. But I suggest that you take 10 here at the Backstage Plaza, and some of you might want to check into the loony bin. There's some great photo opportunities for all you Roger Rabbit fans. Now I'd like to ask if you please remain seated until we come to a stop, and make sure that you have all your stuff